But one of the things that really kept me there was this story that kept getting told to me about the value of being a lesbian, and mirroring to me, you know, that there's the lesbian baby. And in some other time and place, this lesbian baby, you know, would have been seen for somebody who was going to be part of some kind of, who was going to be a religious or spiritual leader, or was going to be a great poet, or something like that. And that would have been seen early on, and that would have been cultivated in her. And that's your birthright, and you just alienated from it, but it's there. And that the therapist can offer that proactively, because when you have heteronormativity, this stuff has to be offered proactively and spoken. That's what I'm advocating, that it gets spoken proactively, not just like, I accept you for who you are, whatever you are. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It has to be.
Because that actually reinforces the heteronormativity.
Well, in a way, yeah.
Right. We're all
it needs
same.
to go further than that. It needs to be, yeah.
Yeah.
We need more than just to be tolerated.
Right. Right on, Maureen. A little more than toleration, and the therapist can evoke that. You know, like, wow, what if your parents had said, wow, look at this little girl we've got who likes to dress in boys' clothing and likes to play cowboys, you know, or whatever at the earliest age, and isn't the least bit interested in dolls, and is out in the forest or out in the street, and her fantasies are all about, you know, conquering the world and this and that. You know, it's like, what kind of little girl have we got here? Wow, could it be possible we have a lesbian? Oh my God, how lucky did you get? Okay, so on that note, I know what I'll do. I'll read you from Helen Keller. I just love her. I read her last time, and reading about Annie Sullivan, and I think she evokes this going on being and like what this could be like, this relationship. So I'm just going to read you that, and then we'll kind of, I guess, you know, if there's any more questions. Okay. It was my teacher's genius, her quick sympathy, her loving tact, which made the first years of my education so beautiful. It was because she seized the right moment to impart knowledge that made it so pleasant and acceptable to me. She realized that a child's mind is like a shallow brook which ripples and dances merrily over the stony course of its education and reflects here a flower, there a bush, yonder a fleecy cloud. And she attempted to guide my mind on its way, knowing that like a brook, it should be fed by mountain streams and hidden springs until it broadened out into a deep river, capable of reflecting in its placid surface billowy hills, the luminous shadows of trees, and the blue heavens, as well as the sweet face of a little flower. Going on me. My kids are going to find love Helen Keller. Okay, anything else? I guess we're, yeah. Could you say your name?
My name is Kelly, and in light of the fact that we're kind of here to reconceptualize some of our main theorists in a more queer-friendly light, I found it interesting that you chose to talk about the mommy and not the object or the parent. Could you talk a little bit about why you chose to do that? It seems like that sort of essentialism might reinforce the heteronormativity.
And so your feeling about that is, can you say a little more about what that kind of stirred up in you? It sounds like
It's just a problem that I have with a lot of our theorists is that they do talk about the good enough mother, the mothering, and I just think that the reality is that sometimes the object's not the mother.
Oh, okay. So let me. That's right on. Sometimes the object is is like the father, or some other kind of caregiver, not the biological mother. The reason I focus on that is because, from my particular point of view, the mother-daughter dyad is a huge is like the biggest constellation in the sky of a lesbian psyche, because the eros is between the lesbian daughter and whoever the female is in her life, who's the principal person in her life. And so, and that relationship is going to be the one around which all of her libidinal energy constellates. So maybe this person is not the literal mother, but this person is going to be a female in terms of, you know, what I'm trying to talk about here in terms of how lesbian development comes online. I don't know if that's essentialist. I'm very interested in lesbian relationships. I think what happens between lesbians is profoundly influenced by the mother. I really do. I think that's been my experience.
Another way to say that, Sandra, is that there might be, let's say that the lesbian child was raised by the father, by a man, like a gay man, for example,
Okay.
has a lesbian daughter.
Yeah.
Then there might be really particular, unique aspects to that relationship, which would be kind of what you're addressing. But there are so many relationships in just common sense real life that is the daughter of the mother. And I think what you're trying to point out is that even in the case of the gay male father, he's still functioning as a mother, as a female figure for the daughter.
Well, I don't know about that, about the eros, that, you know, when, I mean, at least in the early stages, yeah, he's still functioning
Right.
as the mother. But, you know, another way to think about this has to do with the archetype of the double, which I, you know, like, the archetype of the double, at least has, the feminine double, has within it mother, daughter, sister, lover. And my feeling is that right now, because of heteronormativity, we are way over on the mother-daughter side. So you're bringing up a really good point, which is that the only identity that women are allowed to have, and maybe using women is like dicey over there too, I'm not sure, but anyway, that women are allowed to have is mother-daughter. That's where the value is, mother-daughter, mother-daughter. And that lover and or sister-lover is that aspect of the double has been banished and isn't valued. And so the secret behind what I'm doing here is that by deconstructing the mother-daughter, the problems in the mother-daughter relationship, we liberate the daughter to actually have a lesbian relationship with her double, her sister inner lover. Okay, so that's the reason for doing this. The reason for doing it is not to sort of go in and like blame the mother or be essentialist in that way. The reason for focusing on all of this, let me just be really clear, is to liberate the story of the lesbian daughter from being her mother's daughter to being her lover's lover, or to being her beloved's beloved, liberated from whatever happened between the mother and the daughter. And that's my hidden agenda here, and I think that's and so that's my attack on heteronormativity ultimately. But I'm really glad you brought it up, because I didn't get to frame it exactly that way. That's where I'm at, what I'm after, and that's what I'm after. That's why we do this work. Really, is to liberate the true lesbian subjectivity that's about, you know, the erotic connection between, I'm repeating myself, which I do, but the erotic connection between women and between a woman, a lesbian, and her inner beloved.
Is it possible that since the baby only has one parent, that one parent is not like a father instead of a mother, but there's still a mother relationship because those are archetypal?
Yeah, that's nice. I think that's kind of what Roger was saying.
So,
Yeah.
the archetypal those dynamics are still there. They might be projected onto an next door neighbor or.
Right, they need to come online, the baby will find some way to, like,
Yeah,
because it's there in the psyche. Will find a way. Yeah, the psyche will find a way. Yeah. There's all kinds of parameters, you know, like the interesting questions and stuff that, you know, I came from like two heterosexual parents, so I think my theorizing is sort of about like that, but I think people who have different kind of experiences can feel into, you know, your own experience and what that is like, and be trying to speak about it. Because how else do we know? There's just been nothing but silence for a long time. It's time that it ended. All right. I'm going to turn this over to Roger, who's going to make some announcements. And I hope you come back for part 2 and part 3, and we can really unfold this liberation of lesbian era.